Hi everyone, it's Sunday, January 31st, time for another HideNet Week in Review. I'm Vera Dordick. It was a week of changes in a number of Hide regions all over the globe, but the US market was not one of them. In fact, there were increases in Brazil and Europe, but not among US hides. A couple of steer selections in the US saw prices soften a bit, as a matter of fact. Sales volumes last week did not appear to be very high, mostly because buyers continued to bid below last sales and sellers weren't ready to make price concessions, except maybe for large volumes. With regard to heavy Texas steers, sales were few, mainly because of availability, but prices were definitely off their recent highs. Seasonal weights were selling at $27 and $28, although some sellers said that if they had more to offer, they probably could have gotten $29. Looking at the cow market, it is still the bright spot because upholstery and lower range automotive segments are turning to the U.S. market for supplies, which is what we discuss in our report this week. Turning to slaughter, for the week through Saturday the 30th, the total was 653,000, which is just 4,000 hides lower than last week, so slaughter is still very high. The export report for the week totals a paltry 453,700 in sales, and that's down from the previous period. The shipping situation is seeing no improvement, so I guess we shouldn't be surprised that the combined total for the week was 4% lower at 507,000. It was a difficult week in Europe, says Andrea Guolo, our European editor. He says that prices are increasing and tanneries, at least from their perspective, have to pay up without any convincing justifications because demand is not on par. In the UK, Andrea says that sellers are still pushing for more, and the larger sizes in some case are indeed earning extra. The price of the 36 plus ox is at £1 pound 10 cents to £1 15 cents in sterling, and that's up by 5 to 10 cents. Ireland was also a touch better, with that origin going for €1 5 cents per kilo. The prices of European bulls were higher this week. That's largely on the back of low supply across the continent. Large-sized southern German bulls were up 5 cents at €1 55 cents per kilo. Some other origins saw a 10% increase. Turning to the cow market, it also saw rising prices, although there were a couple of origins that remained steady. Looking at veal skins, it was a calmer week, mainly because of a drop in sales. The higher prices have pushed tanneries to the sidelines because outside of the luxury market, the situation is pretty complicated. In his analysis this week, Andrea looks at the confusion in the tannery sector, how they're working under production capacity, and what the next month or two holds. Turning to South America, we feel like the report is on repeat every week because editor Ronald Guiel says that once again, prices are higher in Brazil. As has been the case for weeks now, raw material and wet blue saw increases. Fresh hides ended the week up, closing at $1 85 cents and TR1 per kilo, that is, and TR1 was higher at $1.05 per square foot in U.S. currency. In other news from Brazil, Inspira Mice saw more than 5,000 visitors on the first day of that digital event, and footwear makers have until Thursday to register to participate in the largest international B2B platform. From elsewhere in Latin America, an Argentine shoe factory that used to manufacture for Adidas is reopening. Footwear retail in the Santiago region of Chile was down 51% in 2020. Mexico's Apemex has launched its own store for the leather industry supply chain, and Uruguay's 2020 leather exports were down by 40%. So that's all we have for today, and until next week, good night from HideNet.